Welcome to Nerdgasm. Haven't done a video in a little while. I've been getting stuff graded. Nothing really remarkable as far as putting on YouTube goes. Been having fun in the hobby. Been mostly enjoying it hobby-wise. Business-wise has been a little slow. And I think everyone that does selling is kind of on the same page with that one. No big deal. The ebbs and flows, we've come to expect it. I've been collecting for almost 37 years. And I never did get into it to make money as a kid, so I'm not in it to make money as an adult. Every dollar I make, I invest back into my hobby. But that's not the topic of this video. You can see from the label my label maker made, I'm here to talk about my 1959 Three Stooges cards. And I have my green Zion case. It's the Zion case XL. Highly recommend if you collect graded cards. This is like the Cadillac of storage. And they have a lot of color options. Green's always been my jam. So I figure if I'm gonna do a set build, I should put it in a green case. If you follow my social media, you know that I made an announcement that there is a major milestone in my collecting journey today. And that's what this video is about. And so without further ado, we're gonna get to it. So a little backstory about the Three Stooges, and a personal story, not a biography on the gentleman. I've had multiple sets of grandparents in my life that I've enjoyed watching the Three Stooges with growing up. And one day I was browsing eBay, as most card collectors do, and I came across this trading card set. And I quickly identified I was in my early 20s. They were just mostly out of my price range, especially a few of the key cards. So periodically, I pick up the occasional single, low grade, poor condition. Never imagined I'd be able to afford the key cards of the set. And then one day, on comc.com, about a month before my 37th or 38th birthday, I saw card number 1 for sale in a PSA 2 grade. At the time, I was still 100% Beckett fanboy. All my cards had to be graded by Beckett, by Beckett, by Beckett, by Beckett. And that's why, as we go through this video, everything's BVG and not PSA or SGC or one of the other companies. Hindsight 2020, I would have did this project with SGC. And I know you see an SGC case over there in the background. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out and explain that. And this is just a card from the 1989 set that I just put in this case. It's red back. I am looking forward to eventually collecting this set now that I'm making this video. And over here you'll see some more that aren't from 1959. These are some one-of-one sketch cards I came across on eBay, and I just had them slabbed by Golden Grading. I highly recommend them. They're local to me in Louisiana. I think sketch cards are just an awesome opportunity to pay tribute to various parts of the collecting hobby, and even autographed by the artist. So that's pretty nifty. But that's not what this video is about. We're here to talk about a goal I started as a college kid in 2002, 2001, somewhere around there. Originally was just to collect all the cards. And instead, I've collected and graded 1 through 96. So 1959 makes this set 65 years old. And by default, I mean, people weren't taking care of these cards back then. But I'm happy with the low grade ones that I have. And I'm ecstatic about the higher graded ones.
Wahoo!
And truth be told, I would ideally like to upgrade some of them. So you saw the three big ones. Curly was the first one I pulled off, and once I was able to find Curly in a PSA 2, I cross-graded it to BGS, or BVG as their vintage is called, and it became a 2.5. As you know, PSA doesn't do the half grades generally. I don't know, there's exceptions to their rules. I don't grade with them extensively enough to, you know, really credibly speak on their parameters. So this is mostly going to be just a highlight of a complete 96 card checklist, and I'm going in numerical order.
For duty and humanity.
I'm hoping my little gimmick with the remote holds it up. The desk I'm using, not exactly the right height, but is only background in my home that I felt I could use. I mean, this was the station I used to select my cards, pre-grade them, wipe them with my glasses cloth. And in the course of doing this, sometimes I would buy out somebody's bulk cards and would get duplicates. Sometimes my grading eye would determine, hey, this is better than a copy I already have graded, and I would upgrade. Sometimes my grading eye would fail and come back in a lower grade. In any event, I have a lot of duplicates. I bring them to the shows. And those of you that are familiar with this set are probably looking at, commenting about the checklists. And if you've known me and my hobby journey, you probably already know where I'm going with that. So this is one of my early ones, and you can tell because Becky was still using the white labels for anything under 8.5. I have a 3. And these are probably, you know, these lower grade ones, like especially like this 1.5. I'm going to prioritize upgrading it because I think I could swing, you know, something in the 4 or 5 range for the mid set cards. They usually don't command too big of a premium. Okay, so here is number 16A. It's in 6 condition, and if you already noticed that, you're like, oh boy. But it's, you know, the standard back like all the others. However, with thanks to my friend Rip Sports Cards, a gentleman named Levi in the region, he met a collector who up there in years and sold me this for quite a bargain because he knew I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to keep it as part of a personal collection, but it's an unmarked checklist, and you can go on eBay and look at what people are asking or what they've sold for. In the most general sense, I would not be able to justify buying one. As much as my brain is wired to get all 96 cards plus the 3 variations with the checklist backs for a total of 99 cards, at the end of the day, I'm an adult and I have to make adult decisions. And I'm happy with 97 cards and 1 checklist and not putting my family and my financial situation at risk just to complete all 99 cards. It's not a decision I probably would have made as a 20-something, but as I'm older now and making these decisions, I'm happy with where I'm at. 97 of the cards is better than none of them. And the one checklist means much more to me because of the circumstances in obtaining it. You know, how often do you get a white whale card from someone who is selling it to you for such a bargain because they know you're not going to flip it? And I've been very open about scanning it, putting it on my personal page. That serial number is very traceable back to me. It was ungraded when I got it. I graded it. And if it ever winds up on eBay, I'm either dead or a liar. So it's a pretty high stakes for me, integrity. So some of these are newer grades because Beckett was using this silver label. Not my favorite decision by them, but whatever. That they're the $1 million business and I'm not. And this one, I think I have a duplicate set aside, ungraded. I have a box of a few of them ungraded, but I have a bunch of graded ones for show inventory. This is one that I did upgrade. I had a really poor copy of it, and this one was in a lot that I bought, and I was able to identify with just, you know, my eye and my centering tool that this is a better card. And I mean 6, you know, these cards are 65 years old. We're not going to find 10s, and if there are 10s, they're already graded and out of my price range. You know, I'm a hobbyist. I'm not making a lot of money off the stuff I sell. And, oh boy, that's about to get tricky. So I'm going to do a quick edit. So another 2. And I mean, I'm happy if I don't upgrade the 2s, the 3s, the 1. But, you know, I'm always looking at hobby stuff, and this is a 1.5. And this is one of the first ones I've ever purchased, honestly. I don't know, that serial number, you know, you might want to fact check me on that serial number in the pop report. Because I know the 136 batch is at least 2020, 2021. I think that was around COVID, when things got really slowed down. You can see the 160 serial numbers are very recent. Oh, this one's very, very recent because I think I just got it back within the last month. And I've been spreading out my grading. I have friends, I have bulk subgroups. Sometimes I just take advantage of the 10 card deal that Beckett advertises. Spoiler alert, you can't get away with the $16 no subgrade option for vintage cards. You have to pay the $18 per card with subgrade price for vintage. There's no loopholes with Beckett. So this is an older one, and it's the old label, integrated a 7, which early on I was just getting any card regardless of what it looked like. And as I realized this goal was getting to the point of possible, I started getting a little more choosy about the raw ones that I'd buy. But I, you know, as they say, there's a common saying, any port in a storm, and some of these, that's what I did. But it's like this 3.5 here, you know, I'm happy with it. There's a lot of people that if it's not a 10, they don't want it. Well, you know, enjoy being miserable, because high grade vintage should be considered a bonus to just getting to own a piece of history. I mean, the nostalgia, the Three Stooges, I think of Saturday mornings and nights, honestly, at grandparents' houses, hanging out with my younger sister, who is like one of the best case scenarios you could have for a sister. And I mean, this shaped who I am. My style of humor is heavily influenced by the Stooges. This is a card that I did upgrade. I had one graded at like a 2. Found this one. I mean, look, this is beautiful, honestly. I really like the centering on it. Number 47. It's actually a really clean card. I've never like put it under serious inspection to see why it graded 6 and not higher, but you know, I tend to not question the cliche, the saying, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Hey, you got a 6 on a 65-year-old card. Just a smile and nod. This one actually looks pretty good too. It's a 6.5. And you know, with Beckett, it's probably the edges. If I had to guess, these were produced in the hand cut era and should be, you know, accustomed to seeing some centering inconsistencies with these cards, or the edges might be a little rigid or serrated. You know what I'm saying. I'm still in like sheer excitement, not as verbal as I should be. And then you're looking at this 6 and centering's on point, corners, oh, you actually see the jaggedness on this one's edge. The discoloration's a little concerning to me. Like, I'm surprised they didn't ding it on that aspect. 95% sure that 7.5 is the highest I've ever gotten on one of these cards. And when you look at the brightness of this card compared to the last one, you know, makes you wonder why the previous one didn't get a lower surface grade. This one. And you know, while Curly Joe Dorita, however you pronounced it, wasn't my favorite Stooge, I appreciate the Fleer for including him in this set. I actually have this one as a sign on my wall somewhere. And I actually have another sign in my man cave from that same episode. I'm gonna do a quick cut and show you. Safe to say that the Stooges made me who I am today, entertainment-wise. I mean, for some people, they don't hold up too well. That's fine. I mean, life's beautiful because there's different entertainment value for everybody. You're not wrong, I'm not wrong. We're just different in what we like. Obviously wouldn't recommend showing the Stooges to an inappropriately young child. So many elements of slapstick humor, just like with pro wrestling, needs to be developmentally appropriate for the audience. And so many antics they get into, you don't want a toddler thinking that it's okay to drop a bowling ball on someone. So yeah, this one, the centering definitely was an issue. Otherwise, solid card. This one, centering looks to be about the same. Corners are pretty jacked up. Yeah, that's a fair grade. Oh, right there. That surface smudge. This is a beautiful card. I just got this one back recently. Serial numbers in the 165s. Yeah. It's another newer one, I think. No, 153. So this one goes back a couple of, well, I don't know. That's the silver label. And you see 63A, it's because there is a variation of 63 with the checklist back. It's a good card. That looks beautiful. I don't remember when I got it graded, but judging by the serial number, a long time ago, but then the label, I'm gonna have to double check when they switched. Maybe I'm just forgetting the exact timeline. You know, have fun in the comments if you're prone to leave YouTube comments correcting people. When you're right, you're right. So correct me. Have fun. Hope it gives you fulfillment. So yeah, 64 was one. And I know there's some variations with the backs. You got some of the gray backs or whatever. I haven't done deep research in that regard. I don't think it's a stressor I need to take on to myself. Another 7. I feel like 7's top of the line for what I can expect to get when I submit. Definitely if I'm going to buy pre-graded, 7's about as high as I'm going to be able to afford. High grade vintage just goes for insane numbers, especially these. So this card is a regrade. I say regrade, an upgrade. 135. You can probably check the pop report, see when I upgraded down. So that must have been early when I realized, hey, this project is doable. Yeah, it's such a happy moment for me to have all 96 in the checklist and a checklist graded. This is a beautiful card. It almost looks like photograph quality as opposed to the artsy aesthetic to most of them. I wonder if they took photographs and did artistic interpretations, or is it straight up filter they used with 59 technology? You know, let me know. And a lot of them, they sat in my to be graded box for a while because I just didn't have the time or the means. This one I have several copies of, and this 4 wound up being the best candidate for grading. Here's 2. Here's one of the older ones from the project. This one I think is newish, just based on the evidence. Pretty solid card. Looks like the edges again probably did it in. Not seeing any real noticeable surface anomalies. Alrighty, quick cut. On to the last row. Funny, this card was about a dog, and my cat decided to make an appearance. Say hi to the kitty. Yeah, I'm using my remote. Okay, improvise. I learned that from Chris Farley. Here it is. Improvise. So yeah, this is what I was talking about with the gray backs. I mean, it's definitely a different color, but, without pre-existing knowledge, I would just think it was a symptom of age. And just natural course of aging on cardboard, or how someone stored it. One thing, if I had one thing to complain about, it'd be the consistency and the slabbing. I feel like sometimes I gotta turn them differently. I don't want to read the backs. But it's cool. Just think about my grandpa probably chuckling down this far into my life, still obsessed with the Stooges. But you know what? I remember him being in his 50s, 60s, and 70s, laughing right alongside of me as I was a teenager. Young child, college kid. I remember hanging out with my great-grandparents, which I had the benefit of having great-grandparents into my late 20s. Benefit of mom having me a little young is I got all that time with my elders. Laugh with you too. We watch pro wrestling, so I'm going to start trying to do a pro wrestling collection. So obviously this one had a major surface flaw, getting it a 2.5. Otherwise, solid card. You know, there's a million tutorials online on how to get the gum stains out. Don't know if that's for me to trust myself. Good looking 6 here. Yeah, when the centering looks good and the corners are, for all intents and purposes, there's a circus thing right there over the word Sam, and there's a dot over the E and the. I mean, I generally, with these older cards and my pre-war tobacco cards too, I don't do too much pre-grading on them, other than like if I have 2, I'll pick the one that looks better. But they're not getting any better condition. I'm not gonna go down the rabbit hole of the card care type products. This is a card that mentions one of my favorite jokes of all time, and you can see where the surface anomaly is over the word 12. This joke just, I think today, still holds up. That's a Curly Joe instead of Curly. You know, the episodes with Curly Joe and Joe Besser, not for me too much, but respect to them. And you see the surface damage there. They had big shoes to fill in both Curly and Shemp, and they, you know, they did their best. They had their flaws. They weren't the original 4, the 3 Horowitz brothers and then Larry Fine, but you know what? They kept the spirit of it alive. And there's some gratitude that goes with that. And as I'm thinking about Shemp Horowitz, or Shemp Howard, I feel like it's a glaring omission that he doesn't have any cards in this set. And my next project will be to build 1966. Forget the name of the producer of that set, but I do have one copy of one of the cards in the set, and that set's only a 66 card list, so should go a lot quicker. In the back has another word, bin, a bit of a stain. Getting the edges look a little weird, some stuff right there. No big deal. And then 96 is one I did upgrade. Last card of a set, traditionally, last and first cards always grade low because of the rubber band people. Upgraded this to a 7.5, which I was ecstatic about. And in closing, this is an achievement for me as a collector of just the media, collecting cards, being a fan of the Stooges, and if I had one goal or one wish, besides getting the checklists, it would be a higher grade of this one. Curly is my favorite. We're both bald. Him due to shaving his head, me due to genetics. But if I go to my grave and only have the 2.5, I'm happy with that. I have a piece of history with one of my favorite comedy acts, and I can associate it with the good people I've had in my life, whether they're still with us or not. I can only equate the Stooges to good memories. Thank y'all. Y'all take care, whoever and wherever you are. I hope that my joy invigorates you as well. Take care.
See you later, nerds.